executive editor of Control and ControlGlobal.com with another in the Control ARC monthly podcast series. Every month, we look at the issues raised in the cover story in Control with the insights of ARC's analysts. For this month, May 2012, the topic is the process safety and cybersecurity field. With me today is Peter Reynolds, a senior consultant at ARC who specializes in the process industries. Peter, thanks for talking to us again.
Jim, thanks for inviting me to speak on the subject.
Okay, let's get started then. First question is, why does it seem to help process control and automation people to think about process safety when they're thinking about security and cybersecurity?
Well, that's a good question, Jim. And the way I would look at this is I think about automation people and who are the customers that we're talking about. Most plants that I've been researching, operators, maintenance, engineering are really the primary focus. So really, when it comes to automation people, the number one focus is really to keep the plants running. So enterprise IT folks have got lower availability rates. So typically, I would say a process plant, 100% availability is generally the target. These things never shut down. Downtime is generally not tolerated. So loss of systems generally usually has quite negative implications. Losses of view for operations are not good, and ultimately a hazardous situation can be created, and possibly even a major incident or even a fatality can occur. So I think really when it comes to a plant or facility, a safety instrumented system or sorts is really a physical layer of protection. So cyber incidents also, I think, are always in the back of the mind of the individuals that are supporting the plant. I look at cyber incidents as being a bit of a ticking time bomb. They can happen at any time. You never know when they're going to least expect. And the systems that are in today's plant automation are very complicated, and it's sometimes difficult to plug all the holes. So really, I think in terms of cybersecurity incidents, there's firewalls, the issues, there's patches, there's corporate traffic, there's all kinds of areas that I think can cause an incident. So I think as the automation professional that's running a plant, cybersecurity is a thread that travels through the entire system, and ultimately the effects of a cybersecurity incident can be devastating when it comes to process safety. So it's easy for those folks that are responsible for equipment to connect the technology and some of the incidents to a safety program.
Cool. So how does security problems and solutions go from being about compliance to becoming reliability or safety efforts? How can they get out of it's IT's problem mindset?
Yeah, also a good question. I think compliance, people don't like to be compliant generally. Organizations that are based on rules, I think it really doesn't allow for a performing culture. But I think that the workplaces that have a true reliability culture, for example, reliability-centered operations groups and maintenance, I think that the mindsets really do change. So when you develop a true reliability culture, I think a lot of the work processes around cybersecurity, they tend to happen, and I think that they're more proactive. Forcing compliance on employees to do things and introduce behaviors, in my view, never really is that effective. Having a mindset that it's IT's problem, I think is a real danger, and what I've seen is it's a sign of role clarity that's not been defined. Specific roles are not being addressed, and there might even be roles absent in the plant. So this situation, I do believe, is getting better. It's my belief, and based on some of the research that we've done here at ARC, that IT folks and plant automation folks are working more collaboratively in this issue. Commercial off-the-shelf technology being deployed in automation systems has been used now for over 10 years. And I think initially when it came out, there was a lot of IT issues that were not being addressed. So really, the real challenge is that commercial off-the-shelf technologies require deep IT skills, and these skills need to be under the direction of the automation and support teams. So for an automation group to try and not look after routine IT tasks or cybersecurity tasks that are part of their automation system, I think that would be a real shortcoming. So another thing I want to say about this is we have seen some of our research in terms of role clarity between enterprise IT and plant automation. Fundamentally, I think that the automation groups are under the umbrella of operations. Plant operations are responsible to make sure that the operation is safe and running profitably and effectively. So really, the automation teams need to report through to the operations group.
Okay. Are some applications and industries better at joining security to safety and maybe further along in doing it? If so, what are they, and what lessons can they teach that others can use?
Well, the ARC research that we've done would show that industries like consumer packaging goods and pharma, nuclear power industries are a little further ahead in some of the other industries. The industries that have got products that are consumer-facing, where there's a risk of hurting people at the end of the day and large numbers of people, I think there's a tremendous number of standards and regulations that would force cybersecurity processes in place. So, but one of the things that we have seen is that leaders that are bringing together safety and security into corporate risk management, where cybersecurity systems, people, and processes are analyzed using risk management approaches, we think that that's really where things are going to go in the future.
So how can our readers and listeners, make security part of their functional safety plans? I assume ISA 99 is a good start, but how do you do a safety risk analysis for cybersecurity?
Good point. ISA 99 does have a lot of good information to help design. There's some good definitions and security models that include some terms like defining zones and conduits to help folks put together complicated systems in the plant. One of the things that ISA 99 does, it includes rigorous definition around areas like the documentation required for process systems, better defining of boundaries and better definition of the automation assets and ultimately the risk assessment associated with those. Much of the functional cybersecurity is, really based on, what we've seen, lessons learned from enterprise IT. And really, if you look at what else is in ISA 99, there's language about developing acceptable use policies and change management, and oftentimes these are the things that are overlooked. Many times there's staffing issues where a lot of this stuff isn't done. Sometimes end users that are responsible for this automation equipment, they don't always have the internal capability to manage the life cycle of an automation system. So we're seeing some folks partner with external groups. So in terms of how to manage this and how to start, I think ISA 99 is a good place to start in designing the system, but definitely partnering with other groups. And some of the groups that ARC follows is the Department of Homeland Security. There's a security practice called ICS-CERT. And what that is that's the Industrial Control Systems Cyber Emergency Response Team, and they really provide control system security and focus on collaboration. And some of the things that they do is they conduct vulnerability assessments, on-site support, a lot of situational awareness, and a lot of these things are happening down at the plant floor. So it brings a much more global perspective of cybersecurity to some folks in automation groups that might not be as familiar with some of the functional security applications.
Is it possible that relating security so closely to safety might be oversimplifying them both, and could that cause some important differences to be overlooked?
I think so. I think when I look at cybersecurity involves it's a tremendous scope. You look at IT is everywhere. IT is not just at the plant. And when safety systems are designed in a particular plant, there's different language that's used in order to define that. So in my view, driving cybersecurity really should be at a C-level practice, not driven by plant, process, and safety, but it's important to at least have the linkage. Process safety management should and always will be a good driver for cybersecurity, but it's not the only purpose.
In what ways are process safety and security likely to be entwined in the future?
Good point. In researching this, one of the things that I came across is this is right off the Exon Mobile corporate website. What we're finding is the leaders that are really doing a good job with this is it is at a corporate level. It's driven top down with clear tentacles through the entire organization. So this is just a good example of a leader in the process industry. Exxon Mobile has their corporate site operations integrity management infrastructure. So really, what that is that involves, starts with management, leadership, and commitment and accountability. And really what it does is it includes a model that includes, risk assessment and management of all areas of risk across the business. And certainly availability of systems and the potential of a cybersecurity incident is really very high on the priority in terms of availability. So such operations integrity management systems also include facility design, information documentation, personnel and training is one of the things that's often excluded anytime technology is put in a plant. Oftentimes, safety systems that are put in place, many times it takes a long time for the operators or the engineers and the automation people to get familiar with those systems. So really having a top-down culture for risk management or integrity management will really help drive cybersecurity through an organization.
Cool. Well, Peter, those were some very useful insights. I think they really added some good advice to Walt Boy's cover article. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
This has been another in the monthly Control ARC podcast series. I'm Jim Montague. Thanks for listening.